Oh, we're in a very particular setting, aren't we? Almost like I did a video here not 1 week ago, maybe two, where I was doing a similar sort of freeform thing. Yeah, well, as it turns out, I may have a particular fondness for this sort of whatever video structure because I'm back at it. It's like 3:30 in the morning, and for some reason I had Spotify playing just before I went to bed, and on comes Mukanyo, the first song on the first opening title of Vinland Saga. Now, if you are a subscriber of this channel, recently, most prominently, I'm going to say recently because in a long time I haven't been very vocal about it, Vinland Saga is something hugely important to me. I discovered it around late last year, I'll say, maybe like 10 months ago, and probably close to a year ago, and it quickly became something so vital to my very being. And I know it feels weird to say that about a show, but the show itself meant so very much to me, and it prompted something in me hearing that song again. It made me realize, through nostalgia, I guess, how much things can ignite your being and how quickly they can tether to you. And not the Vinland Saga in general, it's become something so fundamentally important to me, not just through its messages and what Ichimura is going for, but just how I was then. I think everyone can relate to this in a way. A show you watch, like Community for me, I remember back, when I would think back to first watching that, I was a different sort of person then, and I think we're all like that. We're all different people all through our lives, but we just gotta keep moving. Thank you, 11, thank you for that. No, but you were a different person then, and you attached some emotional value onto this thing. And when you think back on it, you think back to that person that you used to be, and it is an entirely different entity. It isn't you anymore. But you reminisce on that time so much, and you wish you were still that person. Yet you're so fortunate for your position and where you are now, and like you've improved in a lot of ways. I think today, of all days, I can say that I'm a better person than I was a year ago. But this little series, this thing has become so fundamental to me between books 1 and 11, between seasons 1 to 2, between episode 1 and fucking 42 we're on right now, technically. It's become such an important part of me. And I'm sorry if I'm raising my voice, you'll know I'm very impassioned when it comes to Vinland Saga. But I think the nostalgia in that way has such a root in us. And hearing Mikanyo again, it triggered me to go and watch the opening again on YouTube, and I was like, kind of emotional in a way, and I don't think it's embarrassing to say. It made me realize like how different it was to me then, and it made me send a voice message to my friend and be like, who recently got into Vinland Saga, and just think about like how, tell him, be like, how, hey, this Vinland Saga is completely different to our current Vinland Saga, and the next Vinland Saga will be exactly the same. It will be different to the last Vinland Saga. And it's going to continue until we get to the last arc, the Vinland arc, and well, I guess there's one arc in between that, but you'll just look back on these things, and you'll be like, I wish it could go back to how it was, but I also wish it couldn't, and I stay exactly where I was. And that's how I kind of approach life. I'm like, God, I wish I could go back and, like, redo it all, but also, fuck that. And I'd also just, like, I'd really like to stay where I am, because I kind of like where it's going on most days, and, auspiciously, I just like where I am in this particular point in time. I know sometimes I feel like I'm not, but overall, I think I'm killing it, so, as much as I can be. 2 days ago, I wouldn't have told you that, but, you know, that's how we are as humans. Things are ephemeral, our mindsets change, and I guess right now, that's why I wanted to make this video freeform, imperfect, and just say how taken aback I am by this series and how much it's given me. I do not think it's embarrassing to say I'm not an avid manga reader. I'm not a fan of anime in general, but Vinland Saga is something so institutionally a part of me at this point, and it's just like the music I listen to. It is me. I live it, I breathe it, and they say you shouldn't take, like, inspiration, that you shouldn't take your being from shows you watch, from movies you watch, but fuck it, Vinland Saga is me at this point. I do have enemies, so I distract Thor's mindset, but his wishes. I am but so indebted to Vinland Saga and to Yukimura, and I wish to meet the man one day. What a fucking individual, what a specimen of a being, what this work that he's created has ignited the flames of so many people's creativity. It's forged so many new mindsets. It has made me a better person, and I will say that for sure. But I just remember, I reminisce on that. I lament the fact that I'm not the person I was when I first watched that, and regardless of how I am now and how I feel about that, I always just think about, like, how much happier I felt in general back then, yet how much simpler things were. Then I think, hey, I'm also really kind of happy with where I am now, and I'm also comfortable with how things are now. And I'm like, that duality of my spirit is, like, certainly not, like, unique to me. It's surely a universal experience, because as humans we're, like, I guess just wired that way, hardwired that way. And I don't know, I guess I just like rambling about shit, and I think that you guys sometimes like hearing me ramble too. And I wanted to talk about this, and because I then went and watched River in the first opening for Vinland Saga Season 2, which, at the start of the year when I saw Vinland Saga was coming back onto Netflix straight away. I think I've talked about this. It wasn't announced to be coming back to Netflix. I was like, I'm gonna get to see it sooner. I'm like, in the first intro from that, I wanted to cry. I was like, holy shit, like, this is Vinland Saga, and Tuesdays became Vinland Saga Tuesdays for me, and I was like, God, this is a new sort of Vinland Saga, but it's just exactly how I felt then, even being late to the party for Vinland Saga Season 1. I was like, holy shit, this is it. I'm just older than Vinland Saga, yet it's so poetic how much it's influenced me, being neck on neck in age with it. It's something else, man. I'm indebted, that's what I'm gonna say, indebted to it, to its being. Yeah, it's funny how nostalgia works like that, like seeing even the Season 2 opening, which, aired just at the start, maybe like February, March, like, it coincided with the time I started uni. I think the second episode was my first week of uni, and my first lecture, and, I met my first uni friend then, that day, by pure coincidence, and then I came home and watched the episode, and that was like my solace. That was my end of the day goal, my end of the week goals, was to get my Vinland Saga fix, and I was like, that was what I looked forward to every week, the new episode of Vinland Saga, and only a couple more now, until I have to wait a while before I can do that again, but that's me, and it's so crazy how I even feel nostalgic for that time, because so much has changed in, like, 3 months, first, more like 4 or 5, but so much has changed in that amount of time, that short of time. It just makes me be like, nostalgia is a very influential and powerful, like, concept, essence, I guess that's not the word, but you know what I mean. And yeah, I just wanted to rant about nostalgia, because it's such an important thing, and you will constantly think about it at any one point in time, and you will think, maybe I was better off doing something this way, when that's just nostalgia speaking. And if you believe in fate, which I'm not sure I do, saying this to someone earlier, I just feel like things are meant to be the way they are, and nostalgia will warp those sorts of memories, but I think the important thing is to remember them back fondly. Remember things fondly. Sorry, I'm very tired. And just appreciate the things you have now. And, where they've led you, where those things in the past have led you. 10 minutes now. I'm not going to edit this. You're going to get pure freeform me, and it's going to be beautiful, tragic, and I really appreciate it if you've stuck around this whole time. I wouldn't count this as relaxing content, but rambling's fun, and it's easy for me to just get my thoughts out there. Yeah, and this counts as content, so win-win. Thank you so much. As usual, I will see you next time, whenever and wherever that may be. Cheers.